Today's December the 9th, 2010. Can you please spell out your name?
Spell?
Mm-hmm.
Silvia, Silvia, Rosales, Rosales.
Where are you from? Like, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Guatemala City, Guatemala. And when I was little, I was adopted and was raised in White Bear Lake, Minnesota. And I attended school there and then came to the University of Minnesota and completed my undergraduate here.
At what age was it that you came here to?
When I was adopted?
Yeah.
I was little. I was 6 or 7 months old when I was adopted.
Okay. Now, were you a Chicano Studies major or minor here at the U?
Minor.
A minor? Okay. What years were you at the U? Like, how long ago was that?
Well, I started in 2000 and 2001, and then I came back to school after a leave of absence. I came back in 2007 and graduated in December of 2009.
2009. Oh, not so long ago then,
Yeah,
right?
last year.
Nice. Congrats. So you graduated last year, 2009. So where do you work now? Are you?
Yep, I work for the Hudson School District in Hudson, Wisconsin, and I'm the Career Center Specialist, and I also coach the gymnastics team there.
Nice. What does Chicano Studies mean to you? Like, if someone asked you to define it or explain it, what would you say?
I would say Chicano Studies is the study of Mexican Americans, whether they're Mexican nationals that immigrated here or first or second generation, born in the United States, the study of the culture and the aesthetics of the communities here and things like that within the United States and how it's developed over time.
And thinking about your time studying Chicano Studies, how did the focus on Chicano Studies impact about what you think or view the world?
I think like any type of cultural studies, I think that it broadens your knowledge base and opens your mind to other cultures and other ways of life. And so being from Latin American community and representing a culture in the United States and in the Twin Cities and Minneapolis, I think that it makes me an icon or a model of that community and a representative of that community. So when you learn about it and educated about it, then when people come and ask you about it, you have a firm knowledge base and you know what you stand for and your beliefs, and hopefully can open their eyes to understanding new cultures and be open to that, whether it's Latin American or otherwise.
Now, before you came here to the U, did you have any knowledge of the Chicano people and like what did that mean to you, or was it till you came here and you started taking the classes that you?
I think my experience in growing up is a little bit atypical from a lot of Latin Americans. I grew up in a white home and middle of the suburbs and things like that, and so both myself and my older brother are adopted from Guatemala, and so growing up in a white neighborhood and things like that entitled us to different privileges than say an inner city family. But my parents were very, they made sure that we were always in touch with that part of our heritage, and so we were constantly in contact, to this day actually, of all the families that sent kids that were adopted to the Twin Cities from our agency in Guatemala. And so growing up, we met with all the families, so all of the children that were adopted got together once or twice a year, and we had, we call them Guatemalan Christmases, and, had typical dress and foods and things like that. And then Myrna, the director of the agency, still comes up to the cities, once every 3 or 4 years, and so she comes up and remembers all of the children, and so she remembers me and my brother, and remembers when we were little and our families and things like that. And so that was always part of our upbringing. My parents really strive to include that, and so I guess I didn't really identify with Chicanos per se, just because I set myself apart, and I was proud to be Guatemalan, and so I didn't really understand Chicanos and that role within the U.S. and its history, and so I just considered myself, a Latin American, and didn't identify so closely with Chicanos. But after taking courses and things like that, I think that the meaning of Chicano and the word Chicano and being Chicano, I think that it takes on a different meaning, and you become to identify yourself, whether you're from Mexico or Latin America, Central America, South America. I think that that identity can roll in, and whether you're not from there or not, you can still identify with Chicanos. And I think that that's learned.
That's good. So how did this studying Chicano studies impact your career that you have?
Well, it went hand in hand with my major. Majored in global studies. My region of focus was Latin America, and the theme that I studied under in global studies was culture, power, and place. And so it's studying the relationships and the global connectedness of different cultures to the United States, and how political processes and politics play into history and certain events, and how they play out, and whether they could have been avoided or changed, or better or worse by political actions. And so focusing on Latin America and that type of history, I think that with Chicano studies and studying that culture and things like that, it goes right hand in hand with my area of focus.
Oh, that's very interesting. So what do you see as a vision for Latinos in the U.S.?
Can you expand on that question a little bit more?
Like, what do you think their visions, like, in the future? Like, what do you think of, like, their future will be like? Because, like, I know now it's kind of like they're more targeted, like, oh, you guys, this, and this. Do you think that will maybe in the, like, future go away, or do you think it'll, like, stay, like, discrimination towards Latinos?
Well, I mean, I guess the hope for, any type of culture, that the possibility of it being eliminated, and racisms and discrimination and that kind of thing would eventually dissipate and disappear in the future. However, human nature has proved over thousands and thousands of years that no matter what happens, no matter what person is in office or what kind of changes are made, with organizations and taking a stand and that kind of thing, that there's always going to be prejudice out there. There's always going to be, certain racisms. But I would hope that Chicanos within the United States, having opportunities be available, whether it's healthcare, whether it's public education and being able to attend universities without paying international rates, for low and underprivileged people from, impoverished parts of the country have that access. You're going to start to change those opinions, and it takes people like us that are going to school and they graduate to impress on other people within this nation that, we're not what they think that we are. It's up to us to demonstrate to them, the possibilities and the changes that can occur. And so, I would hope that the vision would be, onward and upward, that, we're here and we're united and we're not going anywhere. So, our only option is to, do what we can to influence people's minds, just as, people throughout history have, so, yeah.
How important is it for the University of Minnesota or the College of Liberal Arts to keep Chicano Studies as its own department, and why?
I think it's really important that it, remains its own separate department. I think that, I guess I'm a little biased because I worked for the department, so I'd like to keep it stay, learning about it from the inside and having a part of, projects and oral history projects, and helping, contribute to the start of this program. And in having that, I think that it's important, you know, just as I was saying in the previous question, that this is how we establish ourselves. This is how we put ourselves out there for people to know about. And if the department, you know, ceases to exist, you know, you're going to see that knowledge base, and you're going to see the people that represent the Latin American community kind of get, you know, faded out and things like that. And I think that the presence on campus and in the community and being involved in getting yourselves out there as the department does is key to having those successes in those initiatives and trying to eliminate discrimination and all that other stuff.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add, or coming kind of the close of the interview? Is there anything?
I don't think so. Hi, Lisa. No.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. We're going to write up transcripts and send it to you within 2 weeks about there.
Sure.
The department hopes to interview people this semester and next, then put together a video over the summer, and they will also be forming a committee to help organize the 40th anniversary commemoration. Would you like to be contacted to part of the organization? Or?
Yeah, Lisa usually contacts
Yeah,
me about
yeah.
everything.
She's like, feel free to contact Lisa
Yeah.
whenever. So, okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.